All could rise for the pledge, please. Katie, could you lead us in the pledge?
Certainly.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of silence for the men and women in the armed forces, our first responders, our veterans, those fighting the good fight in Ukraine, those that are suffering from the military excursion in the Middle East, and may his memory be eternal, Mr. O'Brien from O'Brien Insurance, who passed away. Thank you. Cool.
Hillary Ram, 154 Guernsey Lane. I wasn't going to come tonight. My husband's been traveling, and I have been exhausted teaching these past 2 days, and I really have been wondering, does it even matter if I come here? What I say, does it matter? And I tossed it around, and the answer is yes. I think it does matter, so I'm here, and I don't know, I have all my ducks in a row. I wish I had more of my ducks in a row, but I'm just going to speak from my heart and say why I think it matters. I think it matters because the budget is about people. The budget is not just numbers. The budget directly affects the lives in this town, our neighbors, our friends, our families. So yes, it matters, and I'm here to speak up about why this budget should be changed, why that we should be at a 0% increase. One of the things that struck me in all of the budget presentations that I heard, and I listened to all of it, was learning from social services that we have a 34% increase, a 34% increase in the needs of our families coming for food. 34% of the families of New Milford are having trouble putting food on the table. That's the reality. And I agree with the mayor who said that these people, these are the canaries in the coal mine, and he laid it out brilliantly. Costs are up. Going to the grocery store, heating our houses, buying stuff for our kids for school, for sports, it's all up, so it's all hitting all of us. We should not put any further burden on the taxpayer right now, especially after 2-3 years of very, very large surplus. After $8 million coming into our town from ARPA funding that primarily went to capital expenses for departments. So now is the time that the taxpayer gets the relief. The departments have absorbed those, and we heard beautifully, all presentations long, about how each department spent that ARPA funding, how important that was, and how meaningful that was. So now it is time for the taxpayer, because those were taxpayer dollars. It is time for the taxpayer to get the relief. I'm glad also that you asked every department head, what would it mean to have a zero budget? Because that's important, and I'd like to hear their answers. But, it kind of makes me worried that you don't get the process, because not every department has to be cut. If I had listened to all of those asks and I knew the departments inside and out, like you do, you've got knowledge and resources to talk with those departments that I don't have. But no, social services would not get cut. The Board of Ed would not get cut. If we look at the needs of the people out there and we start to see what ARPA provided and what those surplus funds provided in the last 3 years, and who's hurting now? What are the tea leaves? What are the canaries saying? So it is your job to figure out where those savings come from. You're the mayor, and you're the town council. It's your job to vote yes or no on this budget.
Thank you, Doug. Doug, can you mute? Or Chris, whoever's on the phone, can you just mute? We have public comment going on. Thanks.
So it's all your job to vote yes or no on this, or to demand a few more cuts for the people, for the taxpayers. I think part of managing is having to say no in the interest of the greater good. That is the point of government. So I thank you very much for your time, and I hope you a good, happy deliberation. Thank you.
Who's on the phone besides Greg? I know Doug came on, is there
Doug.
somebody else? Chris, are you there?
Chris?
I think
Doug,
Doug's
are you still there?
I made him mute.
No,
All
but I want to mute his background.
Okay, we're
Nice.
good.
Doug?
It was definitely Doug, and I heard
Yeah, I know, yeah.
one of the voices.
Chris too, I think it was Chris too. Yeah. They're together, all right. Good.
Okay, so I'd like to reconvene our budget hearings to now budget deliberations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Katie?
I'm sorry. I just had to see if they're on the phone. What, did you second it?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
We went through public participation. There is nobody else, Paul?
None.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like, want me to make the motions?
Yes, please.
I'd like to move that we send the Board of Education budget in the amount of $73,462,509 forward to the Board of Finance, that we approve it.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
I'd like to move the town budget of $46,618,536. Approve it, move it forward to the Board of Finance.
Second.
Any discussion?
I still
Alex?
have a few outstanding questions, I believe, and I've heard from others since. The breakdown of the library salaries,
I had asked for those. I'm just waiting for those to come in.
so we're voting on a total, but we don't know the breakdown. We know it for every other department, but not health. That's disheartening, okay. And
Why is that?
why is that? Yeah, but you approved the total,
Correct.
and just, okay. Just,
And that's from recommendations from the Library Board of Trustees,
got it?
as they're the ones that go through the budget with the librarian, Kathy Riley. And to me, those are needs. It's a brand-new library as they're building out and bringing new people in. And until we can get kind of a data line on it, I definitely agree with our Library Board of Trustees and our librarian, head librarian.
But the paychecks come from our department, correct?
Correct.
So wouldn't we have the information? Wouldn't the town hall have the information?
You'd asked me for the breakdown of the departments and the staff, and I'm waiting for that. They just brought a new part-time position on yesterday, so I was waiting for all of that
So there,
together.
but, okay, that's.
That's within the budget. It's not an
Oh, okay.
increase in the budget.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And the other question that's come to me is, where do we see the money spent for Mike Sinello's videoing and doing everything that he does
That would-
to create these archives?
That would be under consultants, town
Okay.
council.
And so how much is that?
You can look it right up in the budget book.
The total?
You want the total amount for
No, we want to know what he's making, what his salary is.
$250 each time they do the video, which was less than the guy 5 years ago was charging the town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just, people want to know.
Absolutely,
And so that's why I wanted to make it public.
absolutely.
Well,
Okay.
it was public. Everything was up, all of this
Well,
budget
not
was.
everybody, I know, not everybody understands everything, so they just want to
100%.
hear it directly,
Yeah.
that's all.
But I just want to make
Okay.
sure that everybody understands that it was public and it was available to anybody who wanted it, so. That's not like we were hiding it or anything.
That's not what I'm inferring. I'm
Okay,
just,
good.
it's one of those numbers that was not spoken out loud.
Hi, Chris.
Absolutely,
Okay, that's all.
sure.
Doug gets you as well. Doug gets you as well.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Doug.
Mary Jane?
I'm just having trouble with the library. I just don't understand why they could not give you a list of numbers about, what the librarian or assistant librarian is making. I mean, I think she's great, and I'm not, looking to cut her salary or anything, because I just thought she was awesome and maybe the best director
too.
that we've had in a long time. But I just think the public, I just feel like the budget's incomplete because we just don't have those numbers. And I just don't understand why you don't have those numbers.
The total is in here, in the
Total's
budget.
in
I know, you got the total, but
Right,
they
so
should
it's-
have a breakdown.
So you'd like
Everybody
the
else has a
breakdown to see
What the
who's making
directors,
what?
yeah, right, we, like
Okay.
every other department, we do. Every
Oh.
other department, we have a breakdown. No, nothing for the library. I mean, and as Alex says, there are people out there asking questions, you know.
Really?
Yeah,
Did anybody ask you, Mayor?
No.
well, it doesn't mean that
And
they're
can
not
you look
asking questions.
in the
In the
book that we
supplement?
got, the supplemental
Yeah, I'm
book?
looking right now.
I looked.
NMPO.
And I
Okay,
believe when
if
you,
you look here,
and I-
on page 27, you will
Yes.
see a description of the personnel. Their full-time, their longevity,
Correct.
to
but
the
it
total that
is-
matches what's in
and what I
the...
find is interesting, and I will bring this to the public, which I think is, I don't want to say political, but kinda. Every year, Mary Jane's been on there, I've been on there, Alex, you've been on there a few times, Tom's been on there. This is exactly the same stuff that you get every year.
Well,
But this year, for some reason, we're going on the library.
Well, I
Interesting.
just think it's, the information should be there. Like it's for every other department, it should be there for the library too. End of story.
And I think what's great too is.
And it's
I-
not political, it has
And I
nothing to
think
do with
what's
politics.
great too, I think it's great too, because the library is a tremendous resource.
Mm-hmm.
What I'd like to see is for our town council to go to the library and meet those employees
Yeah.
that are there and see what they do and see how they work.
we're not
We're
questioning
not,
any
yeah,
of
I don't
that.
think, you know, that's a little condescending.
I'm
and,
not saying condescending at all, Mary Jane, I'm just
you
saying
know,
you had
I mean,
questions
we've all been there.
concerning the library.
No,
You
no,
had
no.
questions concerning the number of employees that are there.
I'm,
So what I'm saying is,
Isn't that our job?
absolutely.
Right,
Proactively go there next year.
but we were at, we
Ben,
actually...
that's not the
Yeah, I've
point.
been
But
there
nobody
too.
asked it when she was here. She could have told you herself, probably. I don't want to speak for Kathy, but she could have, if you'd asked.
Wow.
And this was brought forward by the board of trustees
I don't
of the
see it as a
library.
big issue to
Okay.
make a big
So
stink
people
about.
who have had experience in this library for many, many years, right, are approving or at least endorsing these people's salaries for
Correct.
the appropriate work that they're doing.
They're the ones that have always presented the budget.
Yeah,
Is there
They're
any
the
other-
ones-
is
in
there
15
any
years, I've
other
never seen
department
anybody.
that you have questions about like that?
no,
No.
that's the only,
Oh,
the only
okay.
one.
That was the only
Just
one
the-
that didn't break it down like a,
I see,
I mean, even names are on some of the departments.
right.
That's why.
Right.
It's just a difference.
Well,
It's just a difference in
I
the way the
guess-
information was presented. That's all. We love the library.
Okay,
I use it all the time, sir.
me too.
So,
Any other questions on the budget? Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion on the floor
a second.
and a second. All those in favor of the town budget signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed? Awesome. Thank you. Any other business to come before the town council? Like to make a motion to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you to the public.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for those watching.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.